Let us pay homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Let us take the three refuges. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Okay, we shall now chant the verses to observe the 5 precepts. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Kamesu Miccācara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Sura Meraya Majja Pamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today, we are very fortunate to have Bhante Silananda all the way from West Virginia, US, who will be giving us a talk about how to overcome heavy karma. Bhante Silananda was born in Sri Lanka and ordained at the age of 11. In 1984, he received his higher ordination. Bhante served as Vice President and Vice Abbot of Bhavana Society in West Virginia, US from 2011 to 2016. He is fluent in English, Pali, and Sanskrit, and is skilled in teaching Buddhism and meditation to both novices and lay practitioners. Bhante will be leading a 10-minute meditation followed by a Dhamma talk and then Q&A. Let's invite Bhante.
Good morning, everybody. I'm glad to see you all today. Now, let's start this with a short meditation. Let's practice meditation. Adjust your posture. Rest your hands in your lap or on your knees. Close your eyes gently. Closing your eyes. Observe your body from top to bottom. And relax your body. Calm your body. Relax your body. Keep a calm and quiet mind. Calm and quiet mind. Now give your full attention to the base of your nostrils and understand your natural breath. Patiently observe and understand your breath, natural breath. Let it go naturally, peacefully, peacefully. Relax your shoulders, relax your chest, and observe your breath. Observe your in breath, out breath as it is. Let it go naturally and understand clearly. Understand clearly. Be mindful with clear comprehension. Now continue your practice. Mindfully observe your breath with a clear comprehension. Continue. Continue. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Kammasaka manava satta, kamma dayada, kamma yoni, kamma bandhu, kamma patisarana, kammang satte vibhajati, yadidang hina panitataya. Beings are the owners of their karma. They are the heirs of their karma. They are originated from their karma. Karma is their relative. Karma is their refuge. It is the karma, volitional action, that distinguishes them as inferior and superior. Friends, this is an utterance of the Buddha. I am glad to see you all today from this screen from the USA. You all are warmly welcome for this virtual Dhamma talk. Unfortunately, unlike the early years, for us it is impossible to meet personally because of this virus, this COVID-19 situation. However, this is also not a permanent thing. This is also impermanent. COVID is not a permanent thing. It is also impermanent. So some people think that this is because of karma. Some people are quite hasty to come to that conclusion. This is also because of our karma. But we, according to the teachings of the Buddha, we do not come to that hastily conclusion. Things happen not only because of karma. So today we have a very good topic for this Dhamma talk. The suggested topic is how to overcome heavy karma. Karma, the term karma is in Sanskrit. The Pali term is kamma. However, we use these two terms interchangeably. Kamma or karma. Karma is not everything. Everything happens not because of karma. In accordance with the teachings of the Buddha, things happen because of many other things, because of other reasons, such as seasonal reason, germinal reasons, then dharmic the natural reasons, then the mental reasons, and karma reason. Karma is only one. There are 5 laws. These are called 5 laws. Niyama. 5 niyama. The first one is things happen because of seasonal reason. Because of the season, different seasons like winter. During the winter we have snow. It is not because of karma. During the summer it is hot. It is not because of karma. During the fall, there are the trees only no leaves during the falls, and during the spring there are a lot of flowers. These are not because of karma, but because of seasonal reason. And things then germinal reasons. Germs, there are different germs and seeds, different seeds. According to them, we get what we sow. If we sow mustard, we get mustard. If we sow mumbin, we get mumbin. Like that. It is not because of karma. It is because of germinal reason. And things happen because of the nature, natural season, natural dhamma, which is called dhamma, nature. The sun rises from the east. The sun sets in the west. Like that. Things happen naturally. It's natural reasons. Things happen naturally. And again, mind. We have the nature of our mind, mental reasons. The mind can take only one object at a time. We can, if we want to see something, at the same time we cannot hear. Normally we think that we do this both together, like multitasks simultaneously. It is not the way of the mind. Mind can see, mind can get only one object at a time. Such things. So the karma is another reason. Karma is only one of the 5 major reasons to things to happen. Karma, though it is one of the 5, it is one of the most important thing. Karma is the most important thing. Once the Buddha said, karma, kammang kettang, vinyanang bijang, tanha sineho. Kammang kettang. Karma is the field. Karma is like a field. Then vinyanam bijang, vinyana, the consciousness is the seed. Then tanha sineho, tanha, the craving. Craving is the moisture, water. So if there is a fertilized ground, fertilized field, if there are seeds and water, then plants grow. So karma is the field. So if there is no field, no fertilized field, then no growing of the seeds. So karma is that important. According to Buddhist literature, karma is compared to the linchpin of the chariot wheel. You know, the chariot wheel is set after setting the chariot wheel to the axle. There is a pin. You have to use that pin so that it won't come out. So that pin is called linchpin. So karma is that much important. So in such a way, we have to understand the importance of karma or karma. Let's understand this further based on the Chula Kamma Vibhanga Sutta. The Buddha once delivered a special discourse to a certain person named Subha. One day in India, just in front of the rich man's mansion, house, a puppy was barking at a monk who was walking collectedly, composedly, calmly, serenely. He is going from house to house begging. He was none other than the Buddha. This little puppy was barking at him. The Buddha stopped and contemplated upon to understand this puppy's previous life. This puppy, as the Buddha understood, this puppy was the same, the owner of this house, earlier the owner of this house, named Todeya. He was a millionaire. He died while he was living. He criticized the Buddha and the monks. He died and now he has become this little puppy. Earlier he criticized the Buddha and the monks. Just like that, now this puppy is barking at the Buddha. So the Buddha addressed him in his name, earlier name, previous life's name. Buddha said, Todeya. Buddha called him, Todeya. While you are a man, you started to criticize the monks and me. Now also you are just like criticized earlier. Now you are barking at me. When the Buddha said this, the puppy, being ashamed, went into the kitchen and he did not come out. The present owner of the house is the son of that person who died, Todeya's son, whose name was Subha. Subha came in the evening. He came home. After coming home, he did not see the puppy. He asked, "Where is puppy?" Then the people at home said, "This morning the Buddha came here. He passed this place. As the passerby, he stopped there and he said something to the puppy. And then the puppy went into the kitchen, and after that he did not come. He did not come out." Then he wanted to understand what the Buddha said. He went to the monastery to see the Buddha and asked whether the Buddha went to that area and said something to the puppy. Then Buddha said yes. Buddha said this. Buddha said something. Then Buddha said, the puppy was your own father, your father who died. Then he was upset and he said, how come this, how my father becomes a puppy? But the Buddha then said, well, I can tell you this, you how to understand. Buddha asked whether your father uh, has not given you anything, any property, any sort of valuable things. Then he said, yes, some valuable things, some pearls, some golden things are missing. So then he said, well, you can do the test. You can go home and feed the puppy well and let him sleep. Then while he is going to sleep, when the puppy is about to sleep, to its ear tell, Dad, where is that gold? Where is that those valuable things? Where did you keep this? Tell to the puppy's ear. Then he went home and fed the puppy and let him sleep. When the puppy was about to sleep, he told its ear, Dad, where did you keep those valuable things? Then the puppy stood up and went into the room, and under the bed he started to stretch a place. He started to dig a place. That is where he had kept these valuable things. In such a way, he understood clearly that the puppy was none other than his own father, Todeya. So, as he understood this, with the support of the Buddha, from that day he became a friend of the Buddha. Then he used to go to the monastery, and one day he went to the monastery and asked the question. He asked Bhante, what is the cause and condition why these humans are to be seen inferior and superior? What is the cause? What is the cause and condition for the beings to be seen different nature? Because there are short-lived persons, there are long-lived persons, there are sickly people, there are healthy people, there are ugly people, there are beautiful people, there are uninfluential people, there are influential people, there are poor people, there are wealthy people. Some are low born, some are high born, some are dullard, stupid, some are wise. Bhante, what is the reason? What is the cause and conditions for these different differences, inferior and superior? Then the Buddha taught him what I said at the beginning of the talk. Buddha said, Kammasaka manava satta, kamma dayada, kamma yoni, kamma bandhu, kamma patisarana, kammang satte vibhajati yadidang hina panitataya. Buddha, addressing him, said, Gentlemen, Beings are the owners of their karma. Beings are the owners of their karma. Kammasaka manava satta, kammasaka means own. They are their own. You are the owner of your own karma. Beings are the owners of their karma. Kammasaka manava satta. Kamma dayada. They are the heirs of their karma. They are the owners and they are the heirs of their karma. Like heritage. It is their heritage. Karma is their heritage. They are the heirs of their karma. And they are born from that karma. They are born from karma. Because of karma. Karma yoni. Then karma bandhu. The karma is their relative. Bandhu means relative. Karma bandhu. Karma patisarana. Karma is their refuge. Karma is the refuge. Karma is the refuge of beings. And further, the Buddha said, it is because of karma. It is the karma that distinguishes these beings as inferior or superior. That is how the Buddha said. But this person could not understand this properly. Then he said, Bhante, I could not understand this properly. Please explain. Then the Buddha explained these different situations, different conditions. As he said, in society, there are people who live only short time. It is crystal clear to all of us. Some people, some even very good people, very spiritual persons, they live only short time. What is the reason? Some live long. What is the reason? He asked. So the Buddha said, there are people, they kill beings. You know, in society, there are people, they kill many beings. There are people like slaughterers. They kill cattle, cows. They kill pigs. Thousands, millions of pigs are killed. And this chicken, millions of chickens are killed every day in almost all countries. Chickens are killed. And so in such a way, many animals are killed. As the result, Buddha said, as the result, they will be born in hells. We have to understand when we use the term hells, according to Buddhism, there are hells. It's not only one hell, but there are many hells. According to Buddhist literature, there are 136 hells. 136 hells. So beings, those who kill beings, they are born in such a place. And not only those hells, then they are born in animal realms, hungry ghost realm, or Titan's realm. All these are called hells. Even animal realm is a hell. So they are born in such a place, and when they come back to this world as humans, the Buddha said their life is short. That is why they are born in such woeful states, and when they come back to human realm, their life is short. That is the cause, the Buddha said. And there are people, they do not kill, they refrain from killing. They observe the first precept, they do not kill. And as they do not kill, they are born in heavens. After that, when they come back to human realms. When they come back to human realms, their life is long. That is the cause and conditions for short-lived and long-lived. Then the Buddha said, why people are sick? Some are sick, some are healthy. The Buddha said some people, they harm animals. They do something cruel. They use clubs, sticks, rocks to harm animals. As the result, they are born in hells. And when they come to this world, they are sick. They are sick people. It is because of harming, doing violent things, cruelty, because of cruelty towards animals. When they come back to human realms, they are sick. That is why sickly people. It's a cause. Then the Buddha said, those who do not harm animals, do not use clubs, sticks, rocks, and do not do anything cruelty towards animals, they will be born in heavens. Once they come back to human realms, they are healthy. That is the cause and condition for sickly and healthy. Then the Buddha said, the cause and conditions for ugly and beautiful. The people are those who are hate, those who are full of anger, angry. Angry is the cause for ugly. But angry, when you become angry, you have hate, hatred. Hatred leads you to hells, different hells, even animal realms, hungry ghost realm, like Yakka, the demons, or titans in such a place. Then when they come back to this world, human realms, they are ugly because of hate. And those who practice love, metta, they are born in heavens. Once they come here as humans, then they are beautiful. That is the cause. The Buddha said that is the cause and conditions for that, ugly and beautiful. Then the Buddha pointed out the cause and conditions for uninfluential and influential. There are people who are always envious, jealous of others' things, others' property, others' achievements, others' success. They are jealous of it. As the result, they are born in woeful states like hells, hungry ghost realm, or animal realms. Once they come back to this world, they are quite uninfluential. There are people, they do not jealous of others' property, others' things, others' achievements. Instead, they practice what you call mudita, appreciative joy. appreciative joy. They appreciate others. They appreciate others' property, others' achievements, others' success. As the result, when they are born in heavens, once they come back to this world, they are quite influential people. That is the cause and condition. Then the Buddha pointed out the reasons for poor and wealthy. There are poor people, as the person asked, why there are poor, why there are rich people, wealthy people. The Buddha said, there are people, they give, they share with others, they offer things, they give others. As the result of giving, they are born in, there are people, they do not give. They do not give. As they do not give, they are born in woeful states. Once they come here, they are poor. And those who give, they are born in heavens. Once they come back to this world, human realms, they are rich because of giving. Then the Buddha said, the cause and conditions for low-born and high-born people are, there are people, they are high-born people. There are low-born people, means high place, high class, and low class people. So the Buddha said the reasons, the cause. Buddha said there are people, they have conceit. Conceit. It is because of their conceit, their pride, their egoistic nature, they are born in woeful state. Then when they come back to this world, they are low-born. Those who have no conceit, instead they have humble, they are humble, simple, they are ready to help others, ready to give ways, share things with others, like that. They are quite humble, simple people. As the result, they are born in heavens. Once they come back to this world, they are born high places, high classes. That is what is called high born. High born. So that is the cause and conditions. Finally, he asked why there are dullard, the stupid people in this society. Why there are the wise people. The Buddha said there are people, they do not discuss good and bad, right and wrong with the virtuous people, with good people, good teachers. They don't reach there. They don't approach such persons, good people, and ask what is good, what is bad, what is wholesome, what is unwholesome, what is merit, what is demerit, like that. They do not ask. They do not discuss with such virtuous persons like monks, nuns, uh, uh, like good people, those who know what is good and bad. We have to go to such persons and discuss. But there are people, they never reach such persons, never ask, never discuss. As the result, they are born in woeful state, like hells, animal realms, hungry ghost realms, or titans. Once they come back to this world, they are really dullard ones. They are really the stupid ones. And those who reach such persons, virtuous persons, good persons, erudite persons and ask what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what is wholesome, what is unwholesome, what is merit, what is demerit, like that. They ask and they discuss and they understand this. In such a way, they develop their, they acquire good knowledge, and they themselves develop their wisdom while living here in this very world. Then, as a result, they will be born in heavens. One day, when they come back to this world, human realms, they are wise people. Friends, in such a way, the Buddha explained this man the causes and conditions of things, how beings are distinguished, inferior or superior. So this is how the Buddha taught him the Dhamma. At the end of this talk, and the end of this teachings of the Buddha, he said, "Oh, Master Gautama, it is magnificent. It is magnificent. It is wonderful. The Master Gautama taught me this Dhamma in many different ways. It's just like you kept upright something which had been overturned. You kept it upright, just like that. Just like something revealed what had been hidden, what had been concealed. Nikkujjatang va ukkujjaya, patichannang va vivaraya, mulasava maggang achikkeya, just like the showing the way to a person who had lost his way. Mulasava maggang achikkeya. Andakareva thelapajyotan dhareya, just like to bring in a light, a lamp to a dark place so that the people can see. Just like that, you brought the light. Andakareva telapajyotan dhareya chakkumanto rupani dakkhinti. In this manner, the Buddha taught this Dhamma, and he was so elated by listening to this Dhamma, these differences, these discrepancies, differences among the beings as inferior or superior. So, friends, this is the gist of that particular discourse, Chula Kamma Vibhanga Sutta. Now we have to understand further what this Kamma is. Kamma is to be understood properly because there are different definitions, different explanations. Some are quite confused. Therefore, we have to understand this term karma properly, clearly, in accordance with the teachings of the Buddha. In the Nibbedika Sutta of the Anguttara Nikaya, numerical discourses of the Buddha, Buddha very clearly said, karma is to be understood. The cause of karma is to be understood. Diversity of karma should be understood. The results of karma should be understood. The cessation of karma should be understood. And the path leading to the cessation of karma should be understood. Here the Buddha pointed out 6 different things to be understood, referring to the karma. That means 6 aspects of karma. 6 different aspects of karma should be understood. What are the 6? First, karma should be understood. First, we have to understand what karma is. Friends, the Buddha has very clearly defined what karma is. Buddha said, Chetanahang bhikkhave kammang vadami. That is the Buddha's word. That's it. Chetanaham bhikkhave kammang vadami. Monks, I say volition is karma. Karma means volition, volitional actions. That is karma. Karma is to be understood in such a way. Then the Buddha said, the cause of karma is to be understood. The origination, the cause, how karma comes to be is to be understood. Karma comes to be because of contact. Because of contact. Like when as we have the eye, the form, then consciousness. These three come together. Meeting of the three is called contact. It is because of that contact, feeling arises. It is because of that feeling, perception arises. It is because of the perception, then there arises volitional formations, thoughts, karma. That is what is called karma. So karma arises because of this contact. The contact is the cause of karma, reason of karma. Contact. If there is no contact, with the cessation of contact, karma comes to cease. So the cause of karma is contact. Then diversity of karma should be understood. There are different nature of karma, the way that the karma is to be experienced. Karma is to be experienced. There are different karmas. There are karmas to be experienced in the hills. There are karma to be experienced in the animal realms. There are karma to be experienced in the hungry ghost realm. There are karma to be experienced in the human realm. There are karma to be experienced in the celestial realms. In such a way, we have to understand the diversity of karma. Then the results of karma should be understood. What are the results? The way that we reap the results. We reap the results in three different ways. Once we do a certain karma, sometimes we have to reap the results immediately here in this very world, which are called immediately effective karma. Otherwise, right after this world, right after this life, we have to reap the results, which are called subsequently effective karma. Otherwise, throughout the samsara, until we attain full enlightenment, we have to reap the results any time. That is what is called indefinitely effective karma. Those are the three types of karma results. Reap in the results. Then the Buddha said, cessation of karma should be understood. I said the cause of karma, the origination of karma is contact. So if there is no contact, no karma, no karma. It is the cessation. So the cessation is the cessation of contact. So what is the path leading to the cessation of karma? Buddha said, what is the path leading to the cessation of karma? It is the Noble Eightfold Path. Friends, Noble Eightfold Path is the path to all this. Buddha taught us only one path, the middle path, the Noble Eightfold Path. That is the path. So that is the path for the cessation of karma. In such a way, we have to understand what karma is. We have to understand the 6 different aspects of karma. Karma means volitional formations. Volitional actions. Volitionally, what we do volitionally, intentionally, volitionally. That is karma, volition, chetana. Chetana is important. Chetana means while we are doing the actions, not that what we plan to do. Chetana is right here. While you are doing the actions, you have chetana, you have intention. You have to understand your intention. Before you doing the action, while you are doing the actions, at the end of the actions, you have to think repeatedly, recollect repeatedly. You need to think and understand the intention of the action. If it is something harmful to you or harmful to others, that should not be done. What is not harmful to you and not harmful to others is to be done. In such a way, we have to understand good karma and bad karma also. So, karma are threefold: mental karma, verbal karma, and physical karma. We have 3 different modes of karma: mental, physical, and verbal. Karma in India, there was, in the time of the Buddha, there were 3 different sects, 3 different religions. They believed they believed everything happens because of karma. Everything happens because of karma, previous karma. Another group, another sect, they believed everything happens because of the creator. Another group, another sect, they believed everything happens automatically, involuntarily. But the Buddha refused. Buddha refused these 3 sects. Buddha said, no, things happen because of causes, because of causes. There are causes. Without a cause, nothing happens. Instead, Buddha pointed out this teaching of interdependency. Paticca Samuppada. Things happen because of other things. That is the teaching of the Buddha. So, of the 3 sects, one is called Pubbe Kata Hetu. They are those who believed everything happens because of previous karma. That is one thing to be understood. But the Buddha said, no, that is wrong. Not because of karma, not because of previous karma, but there are some certain things, some certain situations, some certain other reasons as well. We have to consider these things also. That is the meaning. Once the Buddha taught us 4 different types of karma: black karma, white karma, black and white karma, and neither black nor white karma. Black karma means unwholesome karma. Black karma, unwholesome, evil things, black karma. Then white karma means wholesome karma, good karma. Black and white means both, it's mixed, good and bad. Good and bad karma gives results, good and bad results also, where we experience good and bad both. And neither black nor white karma means no good, no bad. What are those karma? Those are actions. Those are not really karma, but actions of the arahants. So, in such a way, we have to understand different karma, the different aspects of karma. Now, let's come to understand how to overcome this karma, how to overcome karma. And especially, we want to focus on how to overcome heavy karma. The way to overcome karma is doing the opposite more and more. Say for instance, if somebody has done wrong things, evil karma, bad karma, what is to be done? How to overcome this evil karma? You to do more and more good karma. That is the way to overcome such karma. And those who do good karma and bad karma have to understand to do more and more good. If we have done anything wrong, anything bad, evil, we have to do more and more good deeds, more and more good deeds. Then we can erase, we can cover up the bad karma. That is how we overcome karma. But we have to understand the Buddha's teaching. Clear teaching is there's no place where you can escape from karma. Once the Buddha said, Na antalikke, na samudda majje, na pabbatanang vivaram pavissa, na antalikke. Even in order to escape from karma, you go to the heaven, go to the sky, go to the sky, and you hide somewhere, like in a rocket. But no such place. You can't escape from the results of karma. You have to reap the results. And otherwise, you can go to the sea and hide in a submarine like. There is not a way to escape karma. Or go to the cliff of the mountain. No, it is impossible. No such place to escape from karma. If we have done bad karma, we have to reap the results. If we have done good karma, we have to reap the results. Okay, now let's understand what are the heavy karma. Heavy karma means there are 5 heavy karma. Those are heinous karma. Those are hellish karma. Killing mother, killing father, killing an arahant, shedding blood of the Buddha, and make schism. Those 5 are called 5 heinous karma, 5 hellish karma, grievous karma. Those are called heavy karma. Now, how to overcome this heavy karma? The way to overcome heavy karma is attain in the state of stream entry, Sotapanna. Sotapanna. The Buddha said, the way to way leading to the Sesha is the Noble Eightfold Path. When we practice, when we follow the Noble Eightfold Path, we can come to the state of stream entry. Stream entry. The person who enter the path is called Sotapanna. Sota means the path. Noble Eightfold Path. Sota Apanna, the one who enters the path, is the stream enterer. Sotapanna. In the Ratana Sutta, Jewel Discourse, the Buddha very clearly the qualities of the stream enterer. Buddha said, Saha Vassa Dassana Sampadaya Thayasu Dhamma Jahita Bhavanti Sakkaya Ditti Vichikichitancha Silabbatangva Piyadatti Kinchi Chatuha Hicha Vippamutto Chachabitanani Ababbo Katung. These are the qualities of the Arahant. Of the stream enterer, Sotapanna. Sahavas Dassana Sampadaya. Dassana is the stream enterer. When you come to the stream as the stream enterer, your vision is clear. Dassanena Sampanna. You have a clear vision. You know that your sansaric journey is limited. You can clearly understand that. Sahavas Dassana Sampadaya Tayassu Dhamma Jahita Bhavanti. That person who has come to the stream as a stream enterer has cut off 3 fetters: personality belief, doubt, and practicing, clinging to rites and rituals. Sakkaya Ditti, Vichikicha, Silabbata Paramasa. These three fetters are no more. He has cut off these 3 fetters. Tayassu Dhamma Jahita Bhavanti. Sakkaya Ditti Vichikichitancha Silabbatangva Piyadatti Kinchi. Then as the result, Chatuha Hicha Vippamutto. He will not be born in 4 hells. What are the 4 hells? Basically, as I said, there are 136 realms. So 136 hells. They are not born in such places. They are completely escaped from these 136 hells. And then they are completely escaped from animal realms. They are escaped from hungry ghost realm. They are escaped from Titan's realms. Those are called 4 hells. It is because of that state of stream entry, Sotapanna. So in such a way, he can overcome his karma. Not only the light karma. In comparison to heavy karma, there should be light karma. Light and heavy. So whether it is light or heavy, they can overcome these things. Those who come to the state called stream enterer, stream winners. They are the stream winners, Sotapanna. In order to come to the state of Sotapanna, we have to have unwavering confidence in the Buddha, unwavering confidence in the Dhamma, unwavering confidence in the Sangha, and noble Sila, which is dear to the noble ones, Aryakanta Sila. And also, even before that, we have to associate good friends, Sappurisa Sanseva. As the result of this, one enters the path with the support association of good persons, Satpurisa Sanseva. Then listening to the real Dhamma, sublime Dhamma, Saddhamma Savane. Then Joniso Manasikara, the third one, wise attention. Yoniso Manasikara, and Dhammanudhamma Pratipatti, living life in accordance with the Dhamma. These four leads ones to the attainment, to the entering of the path. In the Pancha Bhaya Vera Sutta, Buddha very clearly said the person who enters the path as the stream enterer, he can declare about himself. What can be declared? He can declare that he is free from hells. He is free from hungry ghost realm. He is free from animal realms. He is free from animal realms. And he can say that he is free from all woeful states, lower realms. And further he can declare that he has attained this stage. He has come to the state of stream entrance. Sota panno hamasmi. I have come to that state. Sota panna. Niyato sambodhi parayano. It is certain that I will attain full enlightenment. That is what he can declare by himself. It is because of that. So then that is the way to overcome this heavy karma and light karma as well, whatever the karma. The Buddha in the Ratana Sutta, the Jewel Discourse, the further said, Chatuhapaya hicha vipamutto chacha bitanani ababbokatun. That is how he overcomes this. Chacha bitanani ababbokatun. He cannot do six karma. What are the six karma? He cannot kill he cannot kill the mother. He cannot kill father. He cannot kill Arahant. He cannot shed blood of the Buddha. Then he cannot make schism, and he cannot be a person with wrong view. Miccha ditti, wrong view. Certain miccha ditti. He has no such things. Means he is free from this heavy karma as well. So friends, in such a way, we have to understand the way to overcome heavy karma. The person who entered the path as a stream enterer can practice further, and as the result, he can become a once returner, and then the next stage is non-returner. Finally, he can attain full enlightenment as the Arahants. The Arahants, they never do anything good or bad. They have cut off karma. They have cut off all karma. They are never accumulating karma. They have completely cut off karma. They are not accumulating. But even though one is an enlightened one, he or she has to reap the results of karma, results of their karma done in the past. He are not accumulating karma, though they are reaping the results of karma, such as Venerable Moggallana. You know Venerable Moggallana. He had to reap the bad results of doing unwholesome deeds, unwholesome karma. In one of his previous lives, he beat his parents and killed them. As the result, he had to reap that results in hells for many years, many times. And finally, when he was born here as the human, he attained enlightenment. Even though he is an enlightened one, he was beaten by a group of thieves. It is because of that karma. So he had to reap the results. So in such a way, let's all understand how to overcome karma, how to overcome heavy karma. So this is the way to understand this, and let's all understand this wonderful teachings of the Buddha. Buddha has taught us all these things very clearly in the early discourses. Let's all read the early discourses again and again and understand these discourses again and again properly, clearly, with a clear mind, clear comprehension, and practice accordingly so that we can live happily, peacefully, and one day we can realize that real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. May we all realize real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bante. We have a few questions. Anyone from the floor would like to start, or I can ask one first. Bante, what is the best and worst karma that one can do? I think Bante has said the 5 worst karma already, but what is the best karma that one can do?
The best karma we can say that best karma one can do is practicing vipassana and eradicate defilements, eradicate taints. That is the best karma to be done. There are 3 types of taints: asava, kamasava, bhavasava, and avijjasava. In order to eradicate this, we have to meditate. Buddha has emphasized practicing meditation. Meditation means developing our wisdom. That is the best karma. Developing wisdom, vipassana. So when we practice meditation, we can develop our wisdom. In such a way, we can completely cut off our defilements. So the best good karma that we can do is developing our wisdom and realizing the real peace. Okay?
Thank you, Bante. A question from Sis Michelle. Bante, I've known people who do not keep strictly to the 5 precepts and even often break the precepts. Yet they are always giving and practice generosity readily and have a mind full of chaga. Bante, is it more important to keep strictly to the precepts or more important to make or accumulate merits?
Yeah, the precepts are important because precepts are the basic. It is the base of our karma. Even though you do good deeds, the good deeds means basically sila, samadhi, panya. These are the 3 as given in the Noble Eightfold Path. Sila is the first. Sila is the first. Sila means precepts, morality. Without sila, we cannot go to the next step. Even though you can practice dana in order to give, you don't want to without observing sila, people can give, but their heart is not clear. Their heart is not pure heart. We have to have a pure heart. We have to understand when we do good deeds, we have to understand my heart is good. I do not kill beings. Even people can kill beings and they can give dana. that is not the proper way. They kill beings, at the same time they can give dana. Then people, when the people see, oh, they are nice people, they are giving, they are generous people, they are the philanthropist, like that people can say. But their heart, they know, according to their conscience, they know that it is wrong. So precepts is important. That is the basic, that is the foundation of our spiritual life, our spiritual house. When we build a house, we have to lay a strong foundation. Without a strong foundation, it is quite impossible to maintain. It will collapse pretty soon. Just like that, the person's spiritual life will collapse with that, because of because the person has no morality, no moral life, sila. So sila is very important.
Thank you, Bante. Another question is, Bante, you mentioned the various types of people born according to their karma. What if one person has a mixture of characteristics? Example, a person can be sick and yet wise, or angry and yet generous, or something like that, Bante.
So these are because we are doing mixed karma, like that is what is called uh, black and white karma. Black and white karma, when you do black and white karma, you reap the black and white results. That is clearly, the Buddha said this in the sutta. Buddha said this, that there are people, they do good deeds and bad deeds, just like the person, the earlier questions you asked us about sila. They have no sila, but they give dana. They have no sila, but they sit and meditate. So meditation is good, giving dana is good, but no sila. So if they have no sila, if they instead they are killing, stealing, having illegal sex, and like that, taking intoxicants, they are wrong things. So while they are doing wrong things, they at the same time, yeah, they are doing good deeds. So good deeds have good results, bad deeds have good results. In such a way, the mixed results.
Thank you, Bante. Another question is, if one was young and killed a poultry for livelihood, how is his karma?
Can you ask it again?
If one was young and killed poultry, that means chicken and ducks and all that, for his livelihood, how is his karma going to be?
So that is killing. Killing is whether it is even an ant. We Buddhists try to refrain killing even an ant, very tiny beings even. Beings are to be understood. There are different types of beings. There are footless beings. There are 2 feet beings. There are 4 feet beings. There are multi-feet beings. These are different types of beings. There are beings, they are born in eggs. There are beings, they are born in mother's womb. There are beings, they are born in moisture. There are beings, they are born without parents' union. like manifesting, such as devas and hungry ghost, they have no parents. Without parents' unions, they are born. So all these different beings, when we extend metta, love and friendliness, we extend metta to all these beings. So if we kill any of these beings, whatever beings, beings means those who have consciousness. Being, beings means those who have consciousness. If we break that, if we kill that, it's wrong. Because we cannot take others' life. We do not like somebody else is taking our life. Somebody is going to kill us. We don't like. In such a way, in the same manner, in the same manner, all beings, they love life. They want to live, not to die. They all want to live. Amaritu kama. They do not like to die. Jivitu kama. They want to live. So all beings want to live. Therefore, we should not take one's life. Even an ant, if we kill even an ant, that is wrong. That has bad results. And as the result, what happens? In previous lives, you will be born in bad places, like animal realms. When you say animal realms, like any beings, any animal, even fish, ants, birds, cats, dogs, all these beings, different beings. We are born in such a place because of doing unwholesome deeds, because of doing such evil deeds. Then when we come back to this world, this life as humans, then again we have short life. As the Buddha very clearly said, we have short life and we are full of problems, disease, and we have difficulties. We can't maintain the life properly. There are many shortcomings. In such a way, we have to understand doing whatever, even an ant, killing even an ant is wrong. According to Buddhism, we do not kill. We should not kill. The Buddha said, refrain from killing. Refrain. Buddha did not say, do not kill. Buddha did not say that. It is not the teaching of the Buddha. Buddha never said, do not kill, do not steal. That is not the teaching of the Buddha. Buddha said, refrain from killing, refrain, abstaining, refraining from killing is good. That is why we should not do. We should do it. That is why we should do. That is why we should refrain from killing, because it is good. Do good is the message of all Buddhas. All Buddhas teach us avoid all evil. Avoid all evil. Do what is good and develop your mind. Develop your mind. These are the three things to be done by all of us, by all Buddhist or non-Buddhist, by all humans should do this because these are good, these are wholesome, these are profitable, beneficial.
Thank you, Bante.
Okay?
Got
Thank
two questions. How do you stop the mind from thinking about the bad karma that one has done in his or her life? How to stop the mind from keep on thinking about the bad karma that we have done?
If anybody has done bad karma, what has to be done is doing more and more good deeds, more and more karma, more and more good karma. When you do more and more good karma, you are thinking of these things, thinking of wholesome activities you are doing. Give attention to the action. That is a meditation. Whatever the unwholesome deeds done, try to be more and more mindful to your own actions. Give attention to your hands and be mindful and understand clearly what you are doing now, right now. Now is the precious moment. Now is the most important moment. If you are in the present moment, you are mindful. If you are mindful, you do not go to your past or the future. You are in the present moment. That is meditation. That is the teaching of the Buddha. That is how we practice mindfulness. That is how we practice mindfulness of four establishments of mindfulness also. So in such a way, we practice meditation, we develop our meditation, and at the same time do more and more good deeds. That is the way to uh, control your mind, uh, going again and again to such evil deeds done in the past. Forget about these things. Buddha said, do not worry about what you have done earlier. Do more and more good deeds now. Stay here, right here. Those who are thinking and repenting on what they have done, they are uh, just like something the Buddha compared like bamboo. The cut down bamboo, you put it onto a rock, which is which is hot rock. If you put a like papaya bamboo, papaya like that, if you put it on a hot rock, within one day it withers, just like that, to become withered. So we have to do more and more good deeds and be mindful. So mindfulness is developing mindfulness and clear comprehension is the way to understand, way to peace. Then you do not worry about what you have done in the past.
Thank
Stay
you,
in the
Bhante.
present moment.
Thank you, Bhante. Anyone from the floor would like to ask before I ask the last question? No? Okay, the last question, Bhante. How do we keep up on the good karma, on doing the good karma? Sometimes it's tiring to be good all the time.
But we have to do good karma. If we do bad karma, even a simple thing, bad is bad. Like say for instance, you have a glass of milk. You are going to drink the glass of milk. If you put something like bad things, some dirty things in it, even though it's little, you can't drink it, right? That is why we have to understand, doing good deeds. The Buddha said, do good deeds again and again. Punap punang, again and again. Do good deeds. When you do good deeds, more and more good deeds, it's all right. Sometimes it's all right. You see, you can understand that it's boredom, like, but still we have to do good deeds, not bad deeds. Bad is bad. Even something smelly, what is smelly, even though it's a little thing. it is as it is something impurities, smelly things are smelly. That is why the Buddha said, do more and more good deeds again and again. When you do good deeds again and again, the problem is if you do not do good deeds again and again, continuously, what happens? There is a tendency of the mind that the mind grasp bad things, and then we want to do bad things again and again. That is the danger.
Thank you, Bante. Sadhu.
Okay.
Sadhu,
Thank you.
sadhu,
Thank you very
sadhu.
much.
Thank you, Bante.
Thank you,
Okay.
Bante.
I want to share merit with the departed ones and the devas. May all our dearly departed relatives rejoice this merit. May all devas rejoice this merit. By the power of all this merit, may we all attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bante. May we request
Thank you.
blessing from Bante? Any Chan will do, Bante.
What is that?
We'd like to request blessing from Bante.
Okay. Short chanting?
Yes, Bante.
Okay. So I wish you good health, longevity, success, as we all are doing good deeds based on BF. All of you are engaged, highly engaged in such good activities. You invite the monks, and you all are offering puja, simple puja. You all observe sila, share in things, dana, practice dana, generosity, and meditate. Doing all these good deeds, we all acquire a great deal of merit. We share this merit with all devas. May all devas rejoice this merit. May the devas protect us, especially during this COVID-19 situation. May the devas protect us. May our dearly departed relatives rejoice this merit. May they also protect us. The Buddha's qualities are immeasurable. Buddha himself has condensed his qualities into 9 great virtues. We recite the stanza Itipi So Bhagava Arahan like that. There are nine qualities. We recollect these great qualities. The Buddha has taught us the real Dhamma. He has taught us some discourses like protective discourses. Now I am going to chant a short discourse and bless upon you, wishing you all good health, longevity, success of all your activities. May no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may all ailments cease, may you live long in peace, may you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. With that good thoughts, I'm going to chant. Everybody, join your palms and listen attentively. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vidyacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu Anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattha deva manussanang buddho bhagavati sakkhato bhagavata dhammo sangdittiko akaliko ehi passiko panayiko paccattang veditabbo vinyu iti supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Jupatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Nyayapatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sami Chipatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yadidang Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Puggala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Auneyo Pahuneyo dakhineyo anjali karaniyo anuttarang punyakhetang lokassati etena sacca vajjena Sothite hotu sabbada etena sacca vajjena hotu te jaya mangalang etena sacca vajjena Sabba rogo vinassatu detayang chakhumaye karaja harissavanno patavippabaso tantang namassami harisavannang patavippabasang tayajjagutta viharemu divasang ye brahmana vedagu sabbadamme te me namo te chatvang palayantu Namattu buddhanang namattu bodhiya namo vimuttanang namo vimuttiyai mangso parittang kattva muro charati esanang apetayang Chakuma eka raja harisavanno patavippabaso tantang namassami harisavannang patavippabasang tayajjagutta Viharemu ratting ye brahmana vedagu sabbadamme te me namo te chatvang palayantu namattu buddhanang namattu bodhiya namo vimuttanang namo vimuttya imang so parittang kattva muro ca vasama kappa iti etena sacca vajjena Dukkhavupasamentute tena sacca vajjena bhayavupasamentute tena sacca vajjena rogavupasamentute natti me saranang anyang buddho me saranang varang etena sacca vajjena Hotu te jaya mangalang natti me taranang anyang dhammo me saranang varang etena sacca vajjena hotu te jaya mangalang natti me taranang anyang sangho me saranang varang etena sacca vajjena hotu te jaya mangalang Sabbitiyo vivajjantu sabba rogo vinassatu mate bhavatvang tarayo sukhi digayuko bhava sabbitiyo vivajjantu sabba rogo vinassatu mate bhavatvang tarayo sukhi digayuko bhava sabbitiyo vivajjantu Sabba rogo vinassatu mate bhavatu antarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Sukhi hotu, may Triple Gem bless you, may you live long in peace, may you all attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
sadhu. Sadhu.